Welcome to It's a Woman's World, a show which discusses any and all topics under the sun from a woman's point of view. Hosted today by Dr. Susan Strauss, and the doctor is in.
Welcome to It's a Woman's World, and have we got a humdinger of a program for you today. I'm Dr. Susan Strauss, and I would like to introduce to you our co-host for the day and our special guest. So, Nadia Jordana is here with us. Hi, Nadia. Glad you're here.
Hi, happy to be here.
With a brand new do, I might say.
Yes,
I love
it's
it.
fun.
I love
Fun
it.
and easy.
And Uma Janga, isn't that just a nice rhythm of a name, Uma Janga?
Oh, thank you, Susan.
Glad you're here with us as well.
It's great to be here. Thank you.
And Janita Kathy.
Hello.
Glad you made it, and
Yes.
it's good to see you
Yes.
as always. And we have a very special guest today. We have Paula Meyers. And Paula, welcome to our show.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
We are so glad that you came. Paula does something fascinating. She has it's self-defense, isn't it?
Yes.
And why don't you tell us how that's pronounced, and where you recently came back from Israel to learn a little bit more about it. So tell us a little bit about what you do.
Okay. It's called Krav Maga, and that's Hebrew for contact combat. It was developed way back when by a gentleman who was very good at different sport-type martial arts.
Okay.
But he was Jewish, and during the war he was put into a Jewish concentration camp and realized very quickly that when they called them hooligans came into the ghettos to beat people up, that his sport fighting techniques weren't working against multiple armed attackers. So he developed this system of self-defense and tactics. It's called Krav Maga, that's Hebrew for contact combat. And it's all about self-defense.
Okay, and you went to Israel then to take special classes?
I did. One of the most amazing trips that I had to Israel was last fall when I did something called Warrior's Quest. And I actually got certified through Warrior's Quest to teach military Krav Maga. But before I got certified, I had to go through the selection process and special forces training. And 40 people signed up, and only 5 people made it all the way through and graduated. And I happened to be one of those. 3 other people that made it through were already special forces in a different country. And then myself and another American from San Diego, we both made it.
So when I think of martial arts, we're thinking of a sport that practices discipline and skill. And then when you say Krav Maga, you say that means contact combat. Tell me a little about the difference between the two and how someone would even go and find out about this new contact combat.
Okay, so when I say Krav Maga is not a sport and that it's strictly for self-defense, you won't find tournaments in Krav Maga. We stress, and one thing that differs is we use instinctual principles or instinctual reactions. We use large motor skills because under stress you're going to lose the fine motor skills. So some of the martial arts with the discipline, they practice and practice and practice in a controlled environment. But in the street, when you need self-defense, it's definitely not a controlled
What
environment.
are large motor skills?
So a large motor skill would be arms and legs and big motions instead of I need to put a wrist lock on somebody using the correct hand technique, or I need to remember small individual motor skills with a lot of steps. So we go simple and aggressive.
Okay.
But it's interesting, right? It has been developed by a man, right? It started by a man, and I don't know how you were able to come up with different skills for women. How did you develop it later, or was it started right then, or?
Yeah, no. So women face some different types of circumstances than men do, obviously, right? So when we look at what a man is likely to face versus what a female is likely to face, completely different.
Yes.
First of all, a lot of times we're smaller, right? we might be preoccupied because we're probably multitasking and thinking of everything else that we need to do. So we're going to more than likely be taken unaware. So we need to think, when we think about women's self-defense, we need to think about, I've got my kids with me,
Yes.
I've got groceries in my hands,
Oh.
I've got my,
Purse?
yes,
yes.
something, those types of situations. Or it's late at night, I'm by myself, I'm
Yes.
going through the parking lot, and then I get caught unaware, right?
That's
So
most
those are the types of things we look at for females,
Yes.
and specifically deal for that. Now, some of the techniques are very similar because it's large motor skills,
Okay.
right?
So are most of your participants then that take your training, are most of them women then?
It divides a couple of different ways. We have ongoing classes, and the demographics of that is 90 to 95% male.
Really?
Come on a regular
Really?
basis, yes.
Now why, I guess?
I
I'm
I
was
know.
gonna ask
surprised.
That's
Same
what people
thing,
say.
yeah.
Why would guys come? What are they afraid of? And I say, well, it's not so much that they're afraid as that they're aware. So if a guy needs self-defense, it's because it's more than one person, typically.
Oh,
So, and these days I say it's going to be a minimum 3. Because if you've got one guy that's going to jump you or attack you, one guy that's going to be there for backup, and one guy that's going to video to put it on YouTube.
That
I mean, that's
part
the
about
reality.
the video amazes me.
it
Yeah.
does.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
what I would guess, if you've got primarily men in your class, that women maybe wouldn't want to sign up to be there with
could be
men.
intimidating.
Yeah.
It could be intimidating. However, we try to make it, not intimidating in terms of, look, we've got some women and they can practice together, but definitely during the end of class, we sure have them do it against a man. Because no matter how intimidating I try to be, I'm not a man, right? So there's a little bit more camaraderie. Put them up against a man, and that's going to increase the intimidation factor a little bit, which is good because that gets the heart rate up, which is what would happen in a typical situation. The stress level is up a little bit, but when they do the technique and it works, it's, and I'm going to use the word, it's empowering.
Sure.
Because I teach, the other thing I do is I teach women's seminars.
Okay.
Because my feeling is that women are so busy during the week, they can't commit. They're running kids' places. They're doing all the household stuff. They're busy, plate's full. And they want to do their own workout, keep in shape. So we do the just individual where it's all ladies too. And we stress there, we can show them the techniques and do that type of thing. And that again, even that we can bring the anxiety up a little bit as well during the class with some different tricks.
So you're telling that there are specific different activities for women, then exercises for women than other than men. Do you say that, or is that everything the same for everyone?
It's not quite the same because, like, women could be preoccupied trying to figure out, okay, I have 14 different things to do. Which one do I do first?
Oh,
We're always
okay.
multitasking. Could have your hands full of groceries going from the supermarket to your car. You could have your kids with you, right? You could be by yourself going through a parking lot. So there's, a lot of different scenarios. So for women, it could be a single attacker.
So help me understand again how to classify Krav Maga. So I know it's not martial arts and it's not necessarily a sport. It's self-defense that focuses on large motor exercises or movements. But I still don't have an idea of what this is. Is it more like aerobic kind of large muscle movements that allow you to defend yourself? Or is it more just sort of like an organized fighting technique that you're using to be able to defend yourself? Help me understand what I'd be getting into if I took your class.
Okay, so we start out with warm-ups, and our warm-ups obviously are so that we don't hurt ourselves when we're really doing some explosive motions. And then we'll do what we call power drills, which are just short little bursts of intense activity, because during an assault or an attack or an abduction, 20 seconds. You know, if you fight like crazy, I tell people 20 seconds or less is a typical assault or abduction. If you fight like crazy for 20 seconds, be loud, very loud. Voice is huge in terms of self-defense. You increase your chances of survival exponentially, not just a little bit, but exponentially. So we'll do some power drills. Then we'll learn some what we call combatives. So the striking, the kicking, the punching. I'll say punching, but we teach the palm of the hand because after I hit, then I can take some DNA samples, right? And I don't hurt my hand, right?
Yeah.
We teach law enforcement the same thing. Don't punch because you could break your hand. Use the heel of your hand. Then after that, we would teach you some techniques in terms of how do I defend myself against a choke? How do I defend myself against this? And then always during class, we talk about the timeline because the best form of self-defense is avoidance, right? I need to be aware of my surroundings. I need to know that, wow, if I feel that sense of impending doom, I need to get something between myself and the attacker. I don't necessarily have to run faster than you, but if I can get a car between myself or a shopping cart even in between myself and you, that's going to help.
Paula, one of the things I noticed is that you do have a black belt in a second degree, is that the correct way to say it? Black belt in Taekwondo. You've got a belt in
I've got
shin.
Yeah, I've got belts and degrees in other martial arts.
Okay.
And in Krav Maga, people sometimes ask, do you have belts? And
I was going to ask that.
It's not really a belt system, but we do have a grading system, and there are tests mostly to put people under a different type of stress. So we have practitioner levels 1 through 5, graduate levels 1 through 5, and then expert levels 1 through whatever.
Is it somewhat similar to karate then?
In terms of testing, no. It's all the tests are cumulative. I just recently took my expert level 2 test, and I had to show proficiency in everything from practitioner level 1 all the way up through expert level 2. And it includes fighting, full contact, multiple attackers.
Wow. And so when we were talking before, you said there's only 2 people in the United States that have this particular level of expertise. Is that right? Phenomenal.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
So for the average person, so let's say, you know what, I really want to come and take your class because I want to learn how to defend myself for whatever reason. How many times would I have to attend a class to feel confident that I have this down and I feel good about being able to use these skills? Hopefully I never have to. But like how often would I have to go? What's that like for me to feel good about Krav Maga?
Right. So Krav Maga was developed specifically to bring people to a high level of proficiency quickly. So I have women that will come to an hour class or an hour and a half class. And during that time, every single time we do something like that, people say, I feel so empowered. So really, you could get skills to save your life within an hour to an hour and a half. Very basic type things.
And unfortunately, our time is running out. But I have a question for you. When we're done, do you suppose we could take some time and you could demonstrate to the viewers a couple of these techniques? And
would you like to learn
yeah,
some?
I would
love
love
to teach you
Okay,
some.
let's do that. I think
that'll
that
be
would be great. So, Paula, thank you so much for coming. And thank you, Janita and Uma and Nadia. And stay tuned because you too will learn some self-defense from Paula. Thank you. Stop! Don't come any closer. Paula, okay, I'm ready.
Okay,
Show me.
welcome to Speed Krav.
Okay.
We're going to take you through a timeline, meaning you're aware of a threat, and then you're taking some precautions, you're doing some techniques, using strategy, and then we're going to go worst case scenario, you got caught unaware, and we'll give you some techniques for that as well.
Okay.
So I tell people one of the best tools for self-defense is your voice.
Okay.
Because you can use your voice from 20 feet away, 30 feet away. You can use your voice when they're right up next to you to startle them as well.
Okay.
So we're going to use your voice, we're going to use your body posture, and we're going to use like body language to tell people that you don't want them to come any closer to you. You perceive them as a threat, you don't want them to come close.
Okay.
So your hands are going to be out like this. Universal stop, right? Universal stop.
Yep.
I want you to take a step back with your right foot.
Okay.
So now you're very stable, right?
Okay.
She's got that good, determined look, like, don't come any closer to me. Now tell me, stop. Don't come in.
Stop! Don't come any closer.
Perfect. Now, say I decided I'm going to come closer. I want you to use this hand as the barrier. Use your the heel of your hand right on my sternum. See how stable that is?
Yes.
Yes. Now, here's what we call the educational stop. Take that hand straight in here. Yes. Don't go back. Come forward. So do it again. Tell me to stop.
Stop! Don't come any closer.
And I'm coming closer. There it is. Now go. Do it. Do it. Do it. Make me go back. Yeah, the hand comes off now and goes forward. Yes. Beautiful. Now do it again. Remember, as soon as the fingers go there, the palm can come off my sternum.
Okay. Stop! Don't come any closer.
Yes.
I'm afraid I'm going to hurt
Yes.
you.
It's okay. We call it, even with kids, we teach them this technique. It's called the gack. We call it the gack button for kids.
Okay.
Because yes, it's very, it makes me gag. Yeah, you can feel it on yourself.
Okay.
All right. So you've already learned how to react from a distance. I could be a lot farther away, but you would just hear my voice off camera. You wouldn't see me.
Okay.
You've learned how to react close in. I've initiated contact when I come in, and you're just defending yourself, and then there's the educational stop. Now you say, well, what happens if that's not enough? Most common form of attack is somebody's going to basically slap you upside the head. So without any even training, I'm going to say, don't let me touch your head, right? There it is. Beautiful. Look at that. Remember I said instinctual principles.
Yes.
You're doing just exactly. I would say open your hands, because now you have just a little more surface area.
Okay.
Now you have to give me a reason to stop, because you've got a great block, right? And look, I'm not taking it easy on her, right? Now give me a reason to stop. I'm going to say, take that hand. You would smack me right in the nose or the chin if I was tall. I'm going to duck my head so you can hit me in the forehead. So it's block. Yes.
Okay.
Good. We can add a kick to that as well, but you need to give me a reason to stop. So the principles of Krav Maga are address the immediate threat, the smack to the head. Attack the weakest part of the threat, attack the attacker. 3 simple things to remember. All right. So now we're going to progress to, so now we went distance, closer distance, closer distance. Now we're going to progress to you were surprised, startled, you weren't able to react before they got close to you, right? I'm going to teach you a defense against a choke.
Okay.
Now, typically, when we do this, after you learn the skills, I would have you close your eyes. A, it heightens the stress level, and B, I don't want you to get used to seeing somebody come like this to your throat and do nothing, right?
Okay.
But for right now, so that I can show you the technique, remember I said address the immediate threat, attack the weakest part of the threat, and attack the attacker. So if somebody in here tight, choking you, the immediate threat is the choke. So what I want you to do is put one arm straight up, right next to your head, straight up. Now I want you to turn super hard, turn right. Now turn back in and use that fist for the attack. And maybe that open hand for another attack. And now you can use your shin for a groin kick.
Oh, use my shin for a groin kick.
Bam, there it is. Or I could see you wanted to hit my knee, which is really good instinct, or you can use your foot, travel down my foot. However, that brings you closer to me, so I want you as far away from me as you can be. Right? Again, I'm in here for the choke, arm goes straight up, boom, oops, come back this way for the attack, boom, boom, and another kick, and now you got to get away, right? And before I said you got to use your voice as well. During this whole time, it's going to be hard to yell when I'm choking the air off, but as soon as you get free, use your voice. Get away from me, attacker, get away. So here goes the whole thing. You don't see me coming. Guess what? Come in a little bit closer so we don't get off screen.
Okay.
Close your eyes.
Ooh.
I know. As soon as you feel my hands, I want you to react.
Okay.
Okay, arm goes up. Rotate. Come back in for the attack. Get away, get away, get away. Kick and get away.
Yes.
And look for other attackers. Just in case they brought another person to help with the attack. Just in case they brought another person to videotape.
Okay.
Right?
Now we've got about 1 minute. Can we show one more in that 1 minute?
Sure. Let's do something super simple.
Okay.
Now, you're walking away from me, and I come up from behind. So again, here's the attack. Arm goes straight up. Now you're going to rotate in this way. And as you come in, you can hit, kick, get away, and always look as you're getting away.
Okay.
When I say get away, I want to emphasize one thing. When you're getting away, you're not running from danger. You're running to safety.
Okay,
It's a big difference in the mindset.
Okay. Wow, did you get that, everybody? It's something. You know, it was really easy in just these few minutes. Come and get me. I'm ready for you. Paula, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining us on It's a Woman's World.